Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, Raja Gogasakotar 1719. Imagine standing before the tallest mountains on earth, snow-covered peaks piercing the sky, stretching across 5 countries, shaping climate, rivers, and civilizations. The Himalayas are not just mountains, they are a living, growing force of nature. But how did these gigantic mountains form? Why are they still rising today? And what incredible forces beneath the earth created them? Today, we take you on a journey millions of years back in time to uncover the step-by-step formation of the Himalayan mountains. One Earth before the Himalayas. Close your eyes and travel back 300 million years into the past. There were no Himalayan peaks, no Mount Everest, no snow-covered mountains touching the sky. In fact, India itself did not exist the way we know it today. All the land on Earth was joined together as one massive supercontinent called Pangaea. It was a single giant world, endless land surrounded by a vast global ocean. Far to the south lay a huge landmass known as Gondwana, and within it was a small but powerful fragment, the Indian land plate. At this time, India was nowhere near Asia. Between India and Asia stretched an enormous ancient ocean called the Tethys Sea. This sea was filled with life, tiny organisms, shells, and marine creatures slowly settling on the ocean floor. Layer by layer, these remains formed thick sediments, silently waiting beneath the water. No one could imagine that these ocean floor deposits would one day rise higher than the clouds. This peaceful world of oceans and continents was about to change forever. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, invisible forces were awakening. Forces powerful enough to build the tallest mountains on our planet. And this was only the beginning. 2. The breakup of the supercontinent. The world never stays the same forever. Deep beneath the surface of Pangaea, powerful forces were building, slow, silent, unstoppable. Heat from the Earth's core began pushing upward, cracking the planet's crust from within. Around 200 million years ago, the unthinkable happened. The supercontinent Pangaea began to break apart. Huge fractures opened in the land. Continents that had been joined for millions of years started drifting away from each other, carried by massive tectonic plates. The southern landmass, Gondwana, began to split. From this breakup emerged Africa, Antarctica, Australia, and a small but determined fragment, the Indian plate. India was no longer attached to its ancient neighbors. Slowly, at first, then faster with time, the Indian plate started moving northward, pulled by forces far beyond human imagination. Behind it lay the ancient lands of Gondwana. Ahead of it stretched the vast Tethys Sea and the distant Eurasian continent. This separation marked the beginning of a journey that would change Earth's history forever. India was now on a collision course, a journey that would eventually give birth to the Himalayan mountains. But the most dramatic chapter was still to come. 3. India's incredible journey north. Now begins one of the most extraordinary journeys in Earth's history. Once separated from Gondwana, the Indian plate did not drift slowly like other continents. It raced northward, faster than any tectonic plate ever recorded. For millions of years, India moved at a speed of nearly 15 to 20 centimeters per year. This may sound slow, but in geological time, it was astonishingly fast. As India traveled north, it crossed the vast Tethys Sea. Beneath this ancient ocean, thick layers of mud, sand, shells, and marine organisms settled on the seabed. Every year, more sediments piled up, quietly, patiently, unaware that they would one day rise into the sky. Meanwhile, deep below the Earth's surface, enormous forces were at work. The oceanic crust beneath the Tethys Sea began to sink, while pressure continued to build between the approaching plates. India was no longer just drifting. It was heading straight toward Asia. The distance between the two continents slowly disappeared. Tension increased. The Earth's crust began to strain. A massive collision was inevitable, one that would reshape the planet and create the tallest mountain range on Earth. The moment of impact was approaching. 4. The Great Continental Collision. Around 50 million years ago, the Earth reached a turning point. After traveling thousands of kilometers, the Indian plate finally met the Eurasian plate. What followed was not an explosion, but something far more powerful. A continental collision. Unlike oceanic plates, continental plates are thick and buoyant. They do not easily sink into the Earth's mantle. Instead, when they collide, the land has nowhere to go but upward. As India pushed relentlessly into Asia, the Earth's crust began to crumple and fold. Layers of rock bent like soft clay under unimaginable pressure. The ancient sediments of the Tethys Sea were squeezed between the two continents. They cracked, folded, and stacked upon one another. This slow-motion collision unleashed forces strong enough to lift the ocean floor into the sky. The birth of the Himalayas had begun. The land rose, inch by inch, century after century. Mountains started emerging where an ocean once existed. And this collision did not happen once it continues even today. What began as a meeting of continents became one of the most dramatic geological events in Earth's history. The Earth itself was being reshaped, and the Himalayas were rising. 5. The rise of the Himalayan Mountains. A collision had begun, but the mountains were only just taking shape. As the Indian plate continued to push northward, the pressure between the two continents intensified. There was no escape for the Earth's crust, so it began to rise. Layer after layer of rock was compressed, folded, and lifted upward. What was once the flat floor of the Tethys Sea slowly transformed into towering ridges. This process, known as mountain building, did not happen overnight. It unfolded over millions of years in slow, relentless motion. Huge slabs of rock slid over one another. Deep layers were forced to the surface. Some rocks were bent without breaking, while others fractured under stress. Astonishingly, many of these rising rocks contained fossils of ancient sea creatures, clear evidence that these mountains were once beneath an ocean. The Himalayas were no longer just forming. They were growing. With every push of the Indian plate, the land climbed higher. Valleys deepened, peaks sharpened. What emerged was not a single mountain, but an entire mountain system, vast, complex, and powerful. From the depths of the sea to the heights of the sky, the Himalayas were becoming the giants of Earth. And still, their story was far from over. So, why the Himalayas are still growing? Most mountains on Earth are ancient and silent, but the Himalayas are different. They are alive. Even today, the Indian plate continues to move northward, pushing into the Eurasian plate with unstoppable force. This movement may seem slow, but it never stops. Every single year, the Himalayas rise by about 4 to 5 millimeters. That means the world's tallest mountains are still getting taller. The pressure created by this collision has not disappeared. Instead, it builds deep beneath the surface, slowly deforming the Earth's crust. When the stress becomes too great, it is released suddenly in the form of earthquakes. This is why the Himalayan region is one of the most seismically active areas on the planet. Mount Everest itself, made of ancient marine limestone, continues to rise, a silent reminder that an ocean floor now stands closer to space than anywhere else on Earth. The Himalayas are not relics of the past. They are a work in progress, shaped by forces still at play. And as long as India continues its northward journey, the Himalayas will continue to grow, reshaping the land, the climate, and the future of the region. 7. Formation of the world's highest peaks. As the Himalayas continued to rise, not all parts of the mountain range grew equally. Some regions faced greater pressure, while others resisted erosion more strongly. This difference shaped the dramatic skyline we see today. Over millions of years, the Earth's crust was pushed upward along massive faults. Thick slabs of rock were stacked on top of one another, creating enormous vertical heights. From this intense geological struggle emerged the world's most iconic peaks. Mount Everest, the highest point on Earth, rose from ancient marine limestone, rock that once lay beneath the Tethys Sea. Its summit still contains fossils of sea organisms, proving its oceanic past. Nearby, giants like K2, Kanchenjunga, Lhotse, and Annapurna took shape, each formed by unique combinations of pressure, folding, and uplift. At the same time, powerful forces of erosion, wind, ice, and flowing water carved the rising mountains. They sharpened peaks, deepened valleys, and sculpted the rugged landscape. This constant battle between uplift and erosion created mountains of extreme height and steepness, a terrain unmatched anywhere else on Earth. The Himalayas were no longer just rising land. They had become the highest and most dramatic mountain range on the planet. And their influence was about to extend far beyond stone and ice, reshaping climate, rivers, and human history itself. 8. How the Himalayas changed climate and rivers. As the Himalayas rose higher, their impact reached far beyond the mountains themselves. These towering walls of rock transformed the climate of an entire continent. The Himalayas became a massive natural barrier, blocking cold, dry winds from Central Asia. This allowed the Indian subcontinent to remain warmer and more habitable. At the same time, the mountains forced moisture-laden winds from the Indian Ocean to rise. As the air cooled, it released heavy rainfall, giving birth to the Indian monsoon. Without the Himalayas, the monsoon system as we know it would not exist. From the heart of these mountains also emerged some of the world's greatest rivers. Glaciers and snowfields fed the 1. Ganga, 2. Yamuna, 3. Indus, 4. Brahmaputra. These rivers carved fertile plains, supported agriculture, and nurtured some of the world's oldest civilizations. The Himalayas did not just shape land, they shaped life. They influenced where people settled, how crops grew, and how cultures evolved. Their presence determined the rhythm of seasons and the flow of water across South Asia. Rising from ancient seas, the Himalayas became the guardians of climate and the lifelines of millions. But the same forces that created abundance also carry great risk. 9 earthquakes and hidden dangers. The Himalayas may appear calm and majestic, but beneath their beauty lies immense danger. The same forces that built these mountains are still active deep underground. As the Indian plate continues to push into the Eurasian plate, stress builds along massive fault lines hidden beneath the surface. The Earth's crust bends, locks, and stores enormous energy. When that energy is released, the result is sudden and violent earthquakes. This is why the Himalayan region experiences some of the most powerful seismic events on Earth. History has recorded devastating earthquakes that have reshaped cities and claimed thousands of lives. The 2015 Nepal earthquake was a powerful reminder that the collision of continents is far from over. Along with earthquakes come other dangers. 1. Landslides triggered by unstable slopes. 2. Glacial lake outburst of floods. 3. Avalanches in high-altitude regions. The mountains are still rising, but the land beneath them is constantly shifting. Every tremor, every crack in the rock is a signal of the ongoing battle between two massive continents. The Himalayas are not just monuments of the past. They are a zone of constant tension where creation and destruction exist side by side. And as long as the plates continue to collide, these risks will remain. The final chapter of the Himalayas story is yet to be written. Tibetan, the future of the Himalayan mountains. The story of the Himalayas is far from over. Even today, deep beneath the surface, the Indian plate continues its slow push northward. With every passing year, the pressure between continents reshapes the land ever so slightly. For millions of years to come, the Himalayas may continue to rise inch by inch, peak by peak. But nature always seeks balance. While tectonic forces lift the mountains upward, erosion works relentlessly to wear them down. Wind, rain, rivers, ice, and glaciers carve the peaks and carry rock back toward the plains. One force builds, the other destroys. In the distant future, this balance will decide the fate of the Himalayas. They may grow higher, stabilize, or slowly erode into gentler landscapes. What is certain is this: the Himalayas will continue to influence climate, rivers, ecosystems, and human life for countless generations. Born from the collision of continents shaped by unimaginable forces, the Himalayas stand as a living record of Earth's power and time. They remind us that our planet is not static, it is dynamic, evolving, and alive. From ancient oceans to sky-touching peaks, the Himalayas tell a story written over millions of years, a story that continues to unfold beneath our feet. So friends, this was today's amazing information. Hope you liked this video and learned something new. If you found the video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you again in the next video with another new and surprising thing. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay tuned to learn. Jai Goga Sikotar Ma.